guys, I'm very excited about this video because I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Today, we are going to begin our conversation about UFOs and aliens. Now, for this video, I have primarily used this magazine, so we're going to flip through the magazine. I am not going to read from it directly, but I have paraphrased, so I'm going to take my notes and kind of talk about some of the things in this magazine. I have some gentle music playing from my sound machine in the background for your enjoyment. And today I really want to focus on the Roswell story. It's one that's obviously very popular and probably the story that started the whole alien and UFO curiosity in America. While I was reading this magazine, I learned a lot more details and information about Roswell, and it is the 75th anniversary. It actually happened in July, so we're posting at we're talking about this actually 75 years later. So this is the History Channel magazine. This was a special edition magazine, UFOs and the Search for Alien Life. Now, I will also say that Roswell just scratches the surface of what's inside of here. This really was sort of like a textbook. It's pretty thick. We're only going to go through about 20 pages of the magazine. If you're interested in this kind of content, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to continue with different alien stories. There's a lot of different things we can get into if that's something you're interested in. I love UFO and alien content, so I am more than happy to keep going with this if you're into it. Alright, let's get started. Just gonna move our little candles here. UFOs and the Search for Alien Life. Now, this magazine, like I said, goes through a wide range of topics, from sightings to encounters to abductions to history. So today we're really just going to focus on the Roswell story, okay? I have made notes, and as we go through and flip the pages, you'll probably see I have some note paper there. I'm going to pull those out so that you can see the magazine and talk through it. Okay, let's get started. So, this really just talks about the very brief, it just gives a very brief overview of what happened at Roswell. In July of 1947, Mac Brazel reports to the Chavez County Sheriff, George Wilcox, that he found some debris at Foster Ranch. Wilcox then informs the Roswell Army Airfield because it was so close to the site, and they come up and look at and clean up the debris. That is like the basic facts of what happened at Roswell that sort of sparked this huge controversy, and we're going to get into it in more specifics. The Roswell crash. Whatever crashed in the desert that day wasn't big, but it sparked a massive search for life that defies all boundaries. And this was just sort of like a dramatic reinterpretation of what the crash might have looked like because it happened in the desert. Okay, so now we're going to get into what happened that day. So Mac Brazel, and I might be pronouncing his name wrong, maybe Brazel. So Mac, who was a sheep rancher, he saw something that resembled metal glinting in the sun. Now masses of rubber, tinfoil, paper, and sticks. And so he thinks this is, of course, strange. So he decides to pick up what he can, and he puts it in the back of his truck. Now later, about 75 miles away, he's in Roswell, the town of Roswell, New Mexico, and he's in town running errands, and he decides to take, the items over to the sheriff's office because, this is pretty strange. He can't really determine what these are, but he thinks that the sheriff should be informed if there was some sort of crash that took place. So he takes this over to the sheriff's office, and he speaks with the sheriff, who is George Wilcox. Now, Wilcox goes to the back of the truck, and he looks at everything, and he's basically like, I have no idea what this is. Again, rubber, tinfoil, paper, and sticks. And he's like, I really don't know what this is, but we should call the Roswell Army Airfield because it's probably something they're testing out. Now, the Roswell Army Airfield is very close by, and that is where the military does a lot of top secret military things, like developing weapons and testing out different things that they don't want the public to know about. So the sheriff is like, you know what, we should call the Army Airfield, and we should let them know and have them come take a look and see if there's anything else there, that they need to gather up and see if they can identify what this debris is. Okay, so they call the Army Airfield, and Major Jesse Marcel arrives. He goes with Wilcox and Brazel back to the site to get the rest of whatever it is that's there, that's remaining, and to check it out. While they're gathering, this photo is taken, and a press release is sent and issued from the military, or I actually don't know if it was from the military, but basically a press release is sent to the local paper with this photo saying the military found a flying disc. And so the local paper, and like they're cleaning it up, so of course the local paper, sees a ton of response from that because the public is like, what now? I'm sorry, you found a what now? And it's picked up and sort of becomes national news, right? So the next day, now here's where the controversy is sort of born. The next day, the competing paper in the same town wrote a whole story saying, no, it's not a flying disc. It was a weather balloon. And they were just finding pieces and gathering pieces of a crash of a weather balloon. And so there, the controversy was born because other news syndicates picked up the stories, of it being a flying disc versus it not being a flying disc and being a weather balloon. And from there, the American public was sort of stuck where we are now of like, well, what the heck was it? So 10 days later, and this is what this picture kind of speaks to, like this is setting the scene of what else is sort of happening and how this really evolved to be like the alien controversy that we know now. 10 days after this happens, right, a local pilot, his name was Kenneth Arnold, he's flying his own plane, so he must just be like a private pilot, right? He's flying his own plane. He's over in Washington by Mount Rainier. He spots 9 shiny objects near the mountain, and he said, so now he's talking about he goes to the news and he talks about his encounter and like what he saw. So he saw 9 flying objects and he could not identify what they were. And he said they flew like a saucer would if you skipped it across water. Like if you flew a saucer, like meaning underneath a teacup, the little plates, if you took that and flew it across across water and it sort of like skipped and glided. That's how they appeared to be moving. And he said they were moving so fast that like if he did really quick math, he could guesstimate that they were doing about 1,200 miles per hour, which is faster than the speed of sound, mind you. At that time, we have nothing that travels that fast, right? So, of course, everybody wants to debunk what he saw and doesn't believe it because it's like, no, it couldn't have been that fast. You just, you don't know what you saw. But what happened was he had said that it appeared to fly like a saucer would, right? And because of that, he was misquoted in the news. And that's how the term flying saucer became mainstream. People heard flying saucer. And even though he was misquoted, that's sort of how that term was, became public and became so widespread and mainstream. Okay, so now we start to get into sort of like what happens and what is happening in America and in the world around this same time. So basically, the second that flying saucers became sort of mainstream and a term that people were using, that's where sort of Hollywood and entertainment started picking up this idea and sensationalizing it even more. So you have movies like Catwomen of the Moon. You have books that are written about it. You have people sort of, Hollywood kind of steps in, if you will, and starts to tell these stories. And of course, they are wildly popular because people are just sort of obsessed with the idea that, what if we aren't alone here? What if we're not the only ones here? So, they start featuring like flying saucers, okay? At the same time, the world was literally looking up at the sky. The Cold War was beginning. The first atomic bomb was created, and the Soviet Union launched the first satellite to orbit Earth, which was Sputnik. So we're literally beginning to shift our focus to the sky. And because of that, becomes the question of like, were people seeing these things because our attention was brought upward for the first time? Like, maybe they were always there and this was always happening, we just weren't looking up, and now we began to look up, or did we think we were seeing things and now, had possible other explanations for what those things might be, and so it just, became like tricks of the eye, like everything we saw, we thought was something else. In addition to like us looking up at the skies, more and more abduction stories start to emerge, like the infamous story of Barney and Betty Hill. Now, this is another story that we can really kind of dive into because it's a very well-known and reported on story of abduction, of actual abduction. So Barney and Betty Hill, this happened in 1961. They claimed to have been abducted in Lancaster, New Hampshire. They were on their way home. They saw a bright light in the sky. They stopped their car and they lost 2 hours. So, they then started to remember after doing like hypnosis and certain therapies. They started to remember what actually happened and what they saw during those few hours, and they claim that they were abducted by aliens who actually did like testing on them. So Barney and Betty Hill. So now, as you see, like we're kind of setting the tone, right? Roswell sort of faded into the background, but UFOs and aliens are taking on this whole life through Hollywood, through literature, through stories of abductions, through sightings that are constantly happening. Now, back to Roswell. That had sort of become, background noise because of all of these other exciting sightings and abduction stories that were coming out, until a UFOologist by the name of Stanton Friedman, in the 70s decides, listen, I want to find out what happened at Roswell once and for all. I think that the government and military were covering something up and what really happened, and I want to find out what that was. Oh, look, we've got E.T. Okay, so Friedman goes and interviews Jesse Marcel. Now, if you remember, Jesse Marcel was the retired, well, he's now retired, the officer who was first on the scene. And he was the one pictured with the debris. So he now says, Marcel now says that his supervisors told him not to disclose what the wreck really was, and that it was otherworldly. So that's kind of huge. For the first time in the 70s, there's someone who actually saw the debris who's saying, listen, I don't know what it was, and they told me not to tell anybody what it was because it seemed out of this world. So Friedman takes this information and he is contributing to a book at the time, which is written called The Roswell Incident, which now claims that lightning struck. So this book, The Roswell Incident, that Freeman is contributing to, claims that lightning struck a UFO, and that not only was there debris scattered over like 150 miles or more in the desert, but that there were also alien bodies discovered with the debris, and that the military gathered all of this up, including the bodies, and tucked it away and made it top secret. So that is sort of their theory of what actually happened at Roswell, that we now have this like site, this military protected site that actually has bodies or possibly living aliens that they were trying to cover up. And Jesse Marcel is saying, like, listen, all I know is what I saw didn't look like it was from this world, and they told me not to talk about it. And what's interesting is that, there's military bases right there in Roswell. So military bases that are dealing with top secret things, like, which doesn't help this whole story at all, because what are they really working on? Are they working on weapons? Are they, or are they hiding aliens? Or are they doing both? That's what's so, like, it's shrouded in secrecy. That's what makes this so fascinating. Okay, so now we're gonna jump ahead to the 90s, when a congressman from New Mexico called on the Air Force and basically said, listen, this controversy has got to come to an end. It is ridiculous now, and we need you to declassify the Roswell records, like essentially whatever that report is. You need to make it not top secret, and you need to share it with the public so that we know once and for all what happened there. So they were able to win that, and when the report was released, the military said that they were in fact developing balloon devices that could pick up the evidence of nuclear bombs. So at the same time, right, like nuclear bombs and nuclear attack was very much on the forefront of the Americans' minds. And they said that they were developing a balloon that could go into the atmosphere and pick up on, I don't know what, like nuclear something to detect, like essentially that it would detect if nuclear devices were being used or a nuclear bomb was a threat. So this is what they said that they were developing, maybe like to help give warning before an attack, that they were developing balloons that were 657 feet long, that were that had monitoring devices on them called mogul balloons. And Roswell incident, they had lost contact with one of the mogul balloons, and they suspect and believe that the item that crashed and the debris that was found was the remains of the mogul balloon, and that's all that it was. So there were several people, of course. All this did was like basically ignite the controversy further, and there was actually a military officer that basically said like, hey, we know this is not going to sway the court of public opinion. We know that people are still going to believe whatever they're going to believe happened there, but this is what the actual situation is. And with that, the controversy basically just like continued. 65% of Americans say they do in fact believe intelligent life lives outside of the earth. I am one of them. I truly believe that we are not alone. We're not the only planet that is capable of having life in all of the galaxies in forever. That space is so vast, we haven't even scratched the surface of what's out there. And I believe that, of course, there's other life on other planets. Now, have they come here? Have they figured out a way to visit? Possibly. Have they, are they doing it maliciously, or are they doing it out of curiosity? I don't know. I don't know the answers to these questions. I would love, proof, but I will tell you that I'm a believer. I do believe that there have been sightings and possible abductions. I don't know that I believe every single story. As far as Roswell goes, what do I believe? I believe that it most likely was a UFO. I don't know if I believe that there is an alien, like a being, that they found with it. I believe that they found debris from an actual UFO, and that's what they brought, wherever. I want to say down there, but that's what they brought to their super secret, top secret military cave to, figure out as much as they possibly could and learn about it. Do I believe that there's a living alien that they captured that they've been keeping in captivity for 75 years? I mean, listen, I hope not. In all honesty, I hope not. I know that's a sensationalized view of what could have happened, but I also think that's pretty cruel. If you got into a crash somewhere and then were held captive for the rest of your life and tests were done on you, it wouldn't be so fun. So, I hope that's not the case. But I am certainly fascinated by UFO, alien, abduction stories, and I do believe something's happening. So, you guys, that brings us only, to page 19 of this magazine. So there are so many other things that we can explore in this magazine. I am going to, I have a couple of other ideas for videos we can talk